The 33rd degree knowledge prohibited codex reveals the timeless truth. Reality is not judgmental. It reflects while you listen. You will see that each notion is a seed, every emotion of praying, and the universe is a faithful reflection of your innermost being. 33rd degree knowledge. Forbidden Codex. Introduction. Hidden chambers of forgotten temples and concealed esoteric manuscripts. A truth has been hidden for centuries. A simple truth with enormous impact. That is, those who see it, to discover that their reality has been altered forever. This is the power of 33rd degree knowledge, which reveals that the universe is a living mirror rather than a rigid plan. Returning to you, the image of your most profound thoughts and feelings. Consider the serenity of a dawn-lit pool. The slightest ripple changes the reflection of the skies above. As a result, your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions permeate existence, shaping the world you encounter every day. This is not a symbol, but rather the architecture of creation itself. Ancient sages understood that the universe bends via harmony rather than force. When your inner world vibrates at the frequency of your desires, the outside world must reflect it as faithfully as the sun rises. Every morning, consciousness is the communication you transmit, and the universe, silent, impartial, infinite, responds exactly. The 33rd degree wisdom does not require you to beg or plead with fate. It urges you to embody your desired existence so totally that the universe is forced to reflect back. This wisdom has been buried not because it is difficult, but because its simplicity is its greatest strength. And once you grasp it, you have the master key, knowing that all doors had never been locked. However, before we begin, please like and let me know where you are watching from today. It's always exciting to see who joins us from across the world. Part 1 is the initial revelation. Chapter 1, The Mirror of Thought. Through the veils of time, two legends arise, revealing the sacred mechanics of creation. Clara lived in a lively town, with a loving heart and lips that spoke of life's sorrows. With each passing day, she became entangled in an ever-expanding web of events that verified her remarks. When her car needed repairs, she complained about misfortune, and her appliances soon started to break. When she described a stranger's rudeness, a series of impolite interactions ensued. The cosmos, in its great wisdom, was not punishing Clara. Instead, it was aligning itself with the steady vibration she provided, like a garden that produces exactly what was planted. Her reality grew from the seeds of her thoughts. This truth is the first revelation of the 33rd degree. Your thoughts are more than whispers in the vacuum. They are the architects of tomorrow. The universe, wide and sensitive, makes no distinction between what you want and what you dread. It just responds to the call of your dominating thoughts with unflinching accuracy. Milton's account shows this principle from the other perspective. Every morning, he prayed with laughter, finding comedy in life. Smallest moments. He didn't laugh to change his life. He laughed because joy was in his heart. Yet, as firmly as night follows day, his world changed. New friendships arose, providing additional causes for delight. Opportunities emerged that reflected the same light-hearted spirit he exuded. These events revealed the second revelation. Reality is not a judge, but rather a mirror that reflects the essence of what we carry within. When you understand this fact, you will see that every thought is a prayer. Every feeling is a seed sown in the fertile soil of endless possibility. Mirror manifestation is an ancient practice. As the sun sets every day, find a peaceful area where you will not be disturbed. Close your eyes and take deep breaths. Allow your thoughts to settle like peaceful waters. Imagine there is a mirror in front of you, not one that depicts your physical appearance, but one that portrays tomorrow's reality. In the mirror, visualize your ideal life playing out with crystal clarity. Feel the emotions that this vision evokes within you. Allow everything to become vivid and real, as if you are viewing a scene that is already happening. Hold this vision until it feels as real as the ground beneath your feet. Then, as naturally as releasing a breath, let the image fade into the universe. Express thankfulness, knowing that what you've seen is already in motion. This habit was carried down through generations. Aligns your inner world with the reality you want to create. Chapter 2. The Weight of Belief. The mirror of reality reflects not only your thoughts, but also the deeply ingrained beliefs that are the basis of your being. This fact is brought to life via the story of Elsie, whose heart was full of beauty, but whose spirit was heavy with unworthiness. Though possibilities for advancement, love, and recognition arose, she unconsciously pushed them away, considering herself undeserving of life's sweetest blessings. The 33rd degree reveals a fundamental reality. Your beliefs are the invisible architects of your future. Your beliefs, like a master craftsman sketching the layout for a beautiful palace, define the bounds of what you are willing to accept. These borders are invisible to the naked eye, yet they affect every experience that comes into your life. When you hold a belief, whether about abundance or limitation, the universe aligns all situations to support your inner conviction. It is neither punishment nor reward, but rather the exact reflection of your most fundamental truths about yourself and your role in the world. Examine how this principle emerged in Chester's life. He was convinced that good fortune would naturally follow him. Where others saw impediments, he saw stepping stones. When obstacles arose, he faced them with the serene confidence of someone who understands that everything works in their favor. So they did. Business opportunities found him. Relationships nourished him, especially during difficult times. The solutions appeared as if by magic. However, there was no magic at work, merely the perfect application of universal law. Chester's certainty became the lens through which reality filtered all events, permitting only those that aligned with his inner conviction. Others referred to it as luck, but it was actually the natural crystallization of his principles into practical form. The ancient discipline, passed down via the 33rd degree, holds the secret to altering your own views. As the sun rises each morning, stand in front of your mirror. Choose one empowering belief you want to incorporate into your being. Speak it loudly as an indisputable truth rather than a hope or dream. Continue until you feel the electricity of these words running through your body, making every cell vibrate. With acknowledgement of the new reality, allow your words to carry the authority of someone who knows, rather than someone who only wishes. Chapter 3. The River of Emotion. A force stronger than thought can be found in the heart's hidden chambers. The divine power of emotion viewed through the prism of 33rd degree knowledge. We see how feelings captivate our thoughts, bringing reality into harmony with their frequency. Sally carried fury like a torch, inadvertently igniting every contact. Her displeasure over a morning delay would create angry remarks with coworkers, which would lead to confrontations in meetings, until her entire day was engulfed by the fire she had started. Her encounter exposes old wisdom. Emotion is the energy that gives life to thought, converting it from a whisper to a commanding force. Just as water flows downhill, reality tends to move in the direction of our strongest emotions. An idea without emotion is dormant, like an unplanted seed. But when nurtured with emotion, it takes root in the soil of existence. The 33rd degree teaches that emotion is the current that propels thinking into reality. Vernon's narrative reveals the opposing side of this truth. Every morning, he would pause to express his genuine gratitude for the gift of a new day. This was not simply positive thinking. It was a full-fledged expression of thankfulness that emanated from his center. As if by magic, his path would become smooth before him. Strangers would stop and offer assistance before he asked. Opportunities appeared at precisely the perfect time. The universe seemed to take pleasure in pleasing him. His experience exemplifies the law of thankfulness, which states that heartfelt gratitude creates a magnetic field of grace. When we feel and appreciate passion, reality can't help but reflect that frequency back to us. This is not a coincidence, but the precise application of universal law. The ancient practice, passed down through generations, harnesses this power by cultivating grateful emotions every evening. Take your journal and jot down 3 particular things for which you are genuinely thankful. Pause as you write each one, allowing the warmth of appreciation to fill your chest. Feel it as intensely as you would feel the sun on your face or the touch of a loved one. Allow this emotion to permeate your existence until your entire body vibrates with gratitude. This exercise ignites the magnetic power of emotion, bringing additional reasons to be grateful into your life. Chapter 4. The Sound of Intention. In the quiet of her humble abode. Every evening, Marjorie lit candles and said prayers into the darkness. Her words drifted upward, wafted by wisps of uncertainty. She might say, if it's meant to be. Her desires were encased in layers of doubt, dissolved before they could establish themselves in the fruitful soil of creation. The 33rd degree teaches that purpose is the arrow of manifestation, but doubt splits it in two. When you launch your wishes with hesitancy, they are unable to penetrate the barrier between concept and form. Reality requires precise signals to respond with accuracy, just as a mirror cannot clearly reflect a fuzzy image. The cosmos cannot actualize a conflicting intention. Dean Story reveals this fact with clarity. When his company was about to fail, he didn't consider all of his options or make backup plans. Instead, he made one unshakable decision. His business will succeed. He held this aim with such conviction that it became his whole truth. A fortuitous meeting quickly turned into an unexpected collaboration. A delayed shipment uncovered a more profitable supplier. A competitor's closure drew new customers to his door. These were not ordinary coincidences, but rather the natural result of reality aligning with unwavering aim. The cosmos does not respond to wishful thinking or vague requests. It addresses the frequency of absolute knowledge. When your objective is as clear as a bell on a still morning, reality cannot help but remodel itself around your certainty. The 33rd degree indicates that creation takes the path of least resistance. When you send mixed messages, wishing for success but preparing for disaster, wanting love but expecting rejection, you build resistance in the very fabric of manifestation. However, when intention stems from a single point of clarity, reality easily bends toward your vision. Standing facing the rising sun is an old habit that begins as the first light hits the horizon each morning. Speak one. Clear. Intentional. Loud. Allow your speech to convey absolute certainty. Feel the words vibrate through your body, knowing they have already manifested in the unseen realm. Then let go of all expectations, believing that what is expressed clearly will appear at the proper time. Chapter 5. The Power of Imagination. Lydia spent her mornings in a little cottage surrounded by rolling hills, staring through lace curtains and envisioning storms that would ruin her garden. Each rustling leaf became a portent of calamity in her thoughts, until the weight of imagined tragedies weighed heavily on her shoulders. Her life became darker as she worried about future disasters. Plants withered despite meticulous care. Friendships cooled without explanation, and prospects vanished like shadows in the dark. The 33rd degree teaches that imagination is the paintbrush of existence, coloring the canvas of reality with whatever colors we choose to use. When you paint with the dark hues of fear, the cosmos accurately replicates the shades in the corporeal world. Your mind makes no distinction between what you want and what you dread. It just accepts the images you provide as blueprints for construction. Franklin recognized this principle with extraordinary clarity. Each morning, he would sit in his workshop with his eyes closed, creating vivid mental images of accomplishment. He pictured the smooth grain of exotic wood beneath his fingers, as well as the happy smiles of customers who admired his artistry. The soft clink of coins in his purse. He could feel the warmth of accomplishment in his chest and taste the honey of achievement on his mouth. His visions began to take shape over the course of several weeks. A trader from faraway regions found his work. Wealthy customers sought out his distinctive creations. His modest studio grew, and apprentices came to learn his ways. Franklin's greatest secret, however, was in his focused imagination rather than his excellent hands. The cosmos responds to the images you have in your head with steadfast precision, like a skilled artisan following specific instructions. It constructs reality based on your mental blueprint. This is why folks who spend their hours envisioning illness frequently wind up in doctors' waiting rooms, whilst those who imagine bright health exude vigor. Your imagination is not only a fantasy, it's a powerful tool. It is a sacred tool of creation, passed down through the generations by people who recognized its power. When you close your eyes and visualize a scene, you are not daydreaming. You are programming the matrix of reality itself. Practice in the quiet of morning or the dark. Find a peaceful place where you won't be bothered. Close your eyes and picture a vision of victory so vividly that you can feel it. Create an emotional response in your body. Allow every detail to surface. Sounds, scents, and textures. Feel the ecstasy of accomplishment coursing through your veins till your heart overflows with its truth. This isn't just a visualization. It is the ancient technique of reality creation practiced by masters throughout history. Chapter 6. The Language of Vibration. In Alexandria's antique marketplace, there resided a trader named Mabel, who spent her days lamenting the lack of customers and the difficulties of trading. With each passing day, her words cast a darker shadow over her path. "No one values quality anymore," she would add, watching potential buyers pass by her stall. "Times are more challenging than ever," she would whisper to other merchants. As a result, her forecasts became reality. Customers were scarcer, and her items went unsold. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, does not evaluate the vibrations we create. It simply matches them, like attracts like, as firmly as music entices dancers to its rhythm. Your words may express desire, but your vibration reveals your genuine frequency to the universe. In the same market, Harold, a lowly potter, uncovered this insight via careful observation. Though his crafts were basic, he spent his mornings silently appreciating the clay under his fingers, the sun warming his workshop, and the calm flow of life all around him. He rarely spoke of success. Nonetheless, his stall attracted people like moths to a flame. They would comment on the serene mood that surrounded his space. However, no one could explain why they felt compelled to stay. The 33rd degree demonstrates that vibration is more than just an abstract concept. It is the language of creation. Every thought, feeling, and moment of attention generates a frequency that travels through the fabric of reality. This wave returns to you, providing experiences that follow the pattern. When you realize this truth, you'll discover why some people appear to be blessed while others suffer. They are divided not by fate or fortune, but by the quality of their internal broadcast. Those who sustain a vibration of lack will encounter scarcity at every turn. Those who create a frequency of abundance draw circumstances that reflect their inner condition. The traditional method of alignment begins with an awareness of your current broadcast. Similar to tuning an instrument, you must first hear the note you're playing before adjusting it to harmony. Your surroundings do not determine your destiny. They are only an echo of your previous vibrations. Practice vibrational alignment. Seat yourself in a peaceful area where you will not be disturbed. Close your eyes and start humming quietly. Any pitch that sounds natural to you when you hum. Imagine a golden light beginning to glow at your core with each quiet hum. See and feel the light grow brighter as it radiates outward through your body. Continue for 5 minutes, letting your entire being become a shining beacon of radiant, peaceful energy. This technique connects your vibration with the frequency of pure potential, attracting situations that reflect your light state. Chapter 7. The Gift of Focus. Dorothy's days at Thornfield, a quiet village, were filled with new beginnings. Her workshop was overflowing with half-finished paintings, halfway written novels, and craft projects that had been abandoned in the middle. Each dawn provided new ideas, and each evening saw another pursuit placed aside like a butterfly, briefly touching innumerable flowers. She drank the nectar of many dreams, but never stayed long enough to make honey. The knowledge of the 33rd degree explains that energy obeys a universal law. Whatever you disperse dissolves. What you concentrate on becomes reality, just as sunlight spreads thinly across a field. Gently warms the planet, but only through a lens. Creates a flame. Human attention can shape reality. Walter, a modest craftsman from the same village, recognized this reality without knowing its name. While others marveled at his seeming overnight success, they overlooked the thousands of hours he dedicated to perfecting the skill of wood carving. Day after day, year after year, his hands shaped the same materials, his thoughts immersed in the same dedicated practice. At the same time, Dorothy's studio revealed dozens of abandoned projects. Walter's demonstrated the evolution of a single passion perfected over time. The universe does not respond to wants, but to constant attention. Each time you change your focus, you release the momentum that is built up behind your previous project. It's like drilling multiple shallow wells instead of a single deep one. Only depth reaches the sea. The dispersed mind produces scattered outcomes, whereas the focused mind serves as a lens through which potential transforms into reality. Many people attributed Walter's success to luck. However, those who understand the language of vibration understood that his accomplishment was the result of something considerably more potent than chance. His steadfast attention created a resonance so powerful that reality had no choice but to match its frequency. Dorothy's diverse interests produced interference patterns that canceled each other out. Walter's single passion became stronger with each passing day. This technique works with mathematical precision in your own life. When you totally commit to one course, you start a momentum that increases on itself. Every moment of focused attention contributes to the wave of manifestation. While each distraction loses potency today, choose one focus and stick to it, resisting the temptation to scatter your attention. Chapter 8. The Wisdom of Silence. Pearl used to spend her days in constant activity. From sunrise to nightfall, she was surrounded by a continuous stream of music, television, discussion, and many notifications that required her attention. Similar to how water flows over stones, the incessant cacophony blurred the edges of her awareness until she couldn't distinguish between her own soul's whispers and the clamor of the world. The 33rd degree of knowledge explains that quiet is a presence rather than an absence. It is the hallowed space where wisdom lives, waiting to be discovered. In the silent times between thoughts, the cosmos talks directly to those who can listen. Just as a lake must be quiet to reflect the stars above, so must the mind be tranquil to reflect the light of inner knowledge. When your thoughts are continuously disturbed by external noise, the waters of your consciousness remain foggy. The tiny signals of intuition, those gentle nudges that steer you toward your highest path, become lost in the tumult of constant distraction. This is why individuals who master reality recognize that quiet is not empty. It exudes the power of pure potential. Norman realized this reality out of need rather than choice. After getting lost in life's intricate maze, he found himself drawn to peaceful periods of reflection. At first, the silence was unsettling, even dangerous. But as he persisted, something remarkable started to happen. In those quiet moments, Norman began to detect a deeper thread of awareness that was not constantly interrupted by noise. His thinking cleared like the sky after a storm has passed. Problems were easily solved. Decisions that had seemed impossible before became evident. Most significantly, he established a firm sense of direction that no outside influences could disturb. The alteration in Norman's life exemplifies this timeless idea. When you create space for stillness, you make room for wisdom. His decisions, guided by this inner compass, lead him unerringly to opportunities he could never have anticipated with his thinking mind alone. The ancient discipline of inner listening. Set aside 10 minutes per day for silence. Listen to your breath till guidance emerges gently. Find a quiet place to meditate and let your breath become your sole attention as thoughts arise. Observe them without connection, allowing them to pass like clouds in the sky. In this area of focused attention, wisdom will begin to speak in its own time and with its own voice. Chapter 9. The Law of Alignment. In a noisy marketplace, Irene stood in front of her modest business, lamenting rising costs and falling customer numbers. "Times are tough," she'd say, shaking her head. "Nobody has money to spend anymore." Her words cast shadows over her prosperous dreams, like clouds gathering before a storm. Her feelings of inadequacy were reflected in her words, which guided her actions, marking down prices, cutting inventory, and bracing for the worst. The 33rd degree teaches that alignment is the holy triad of manifestation. When your thoughts, words, and actions all work in harmony, reality bends toward your desires, much like water flowing downstream. However, when these forces pull in opposite directions, they cause turbulence in the field of manifestation. Gilbert, a craftsman in a distant village, intuitively recognized this truth when he considered expanding his workshop. He allowed this vision to permeate every part of his life. His thoughts centered on progress and possibility. His words emphasized possibility and expansion. His actions, however minor at the beginning, were matched entirely with his vision. He organized his tools more efficiently, set up new workbenches, and greeted each guest as if they were his 100th customer of the day. Gilbert's workshop was altered after a few months. Orders came in at an increasing rate. His once quiet office hummed with activity as the cosmos recognized the harmony between his inner and outer worlds and responded by organizing events to match his aligned energy. The gap between Irene and Gilbert exposes a fundamental truth. The universe does not respond to your desires. It responds to who you are when your thoughts, words, and actions coincide. You become a transparent conduit through which abundance can flow. When they disagree, you're like a house divided against itself. This ancient wisdom teaches that manifestation is more than just positive thought. It necessitates perfect consistency between what you imagine in your head, communicate in your words, and display in your actions. Each component must support the others, as three pillars do in a temple of manifestation. The practice of aligning. Choose a peaceful moment and take 3 deep breaths. On a blank sheet of paper, write down one deep desire that you have. Below, list 3 specific activities you can take to connect your outer reality with your inner vision. Allow these actions to be small enough to begin today while remaining meaningful enough to demonstrate your dedication to the universe. This exercise builds a link between the worlds of idea and form, allowing your desire to transform from possibility to reality. Chapter 10. The Freedom of Detachment. A woman named Ethel lived in a little village surrounded by rolling hills, and she longed for a rose garden. She would go to her vacant plot every day, testing the soil, obsessively pulling up seeds to see if they had sprouted, and worrying about every aspect. Her frequent meddling stifled the natural process of growth, and her garden became barren. The 33rd degree teaches that manifestation has a divine rhythm, similar to how the moon waxes and wanes and the tide flows and ebbs. When you plant a seed in fertile soil, you must take a step back and believe in the unseen forces that govern all creation. Your responsibility is not to force the flower to bloom, but to provide the conditions for its natural growth and development. Attachment to outcomes causes resistance within the fabric of reality. When you are excessively attached to your wishes, you disrupt the delicate dance of manifestation. The cosmos responds not to desperate clutching, but to the magnetic pull of aligned energy released. In contrast, there lived a shopkeeper named Stanley who recognized the value of release. He would plainly state his aims, take inspired action, and then fully surrender to the flow of life. He viewed his desires as if they were messages in bottles cast into the cosmic ocean, trusting they would arrive at the proper time. Instead of worrying about the outcome, Stanley felt compelled to investigate a new trade route one autumn morning. He merely followed his intuition. This led him to uncover a vibrant market town he had no idea existed, bringing up a plethora of fresh opportunities. His detachment allowed synchronicity to work its magic, resulting in rewards considerably above his original idea. The distinction between Ethel and Stanley exposes an essential truth. What you oppose endures. What you release returns, transformed by grace. This isn't passive waiting, but active trust. A profound understanding that the universe's timetable is beyond your limited vision. The 33rd degree reveals that attachment arises from fear, whereas detachment arises from faith. When you sincerely believe that the universe is working for your ultimate good, you may let go of your tight grip on outcomes, like a parent witnessing a child's first steps. You set the conditions for miracles to occur naturally. Practice. Find a quiet moment and reflect on your deepest desire. Feel it completely in your heart, recognizing its relevance to you. Imagine this desire as a vibrant balloon in your favorite color. Hold it gently. Infuse it with your love and intentions. Then, slowly open your hands. Watch it rise into the endless sky, carrying your dreams into the universe. Smile as it ascends higher and higher, knowing that what is truly yours will eventually find its way back to you. Part 2. The Deepening Current. Chapter 11. The Echo of Words. A woman named Minnie resided in a crowded marketplace and used her tongue to cast evil charms. Despite knowing this day was not cursed, she would mumble it every morning. Nothing ever goes well. She sighed as the sun rose higher with each painful announcement. The hours before her changed to reflect her pronouncements. As specific as night follows day, the 33rd degree reveals a truth known to ancient mystics. Your words are like seeds planted in the rich soil of existence. Each syllable has a vibration that travels through the fabric of reality, attracting situations that match its frequency. When you speak, you cast spells into the universe, scripting the script for your future. These utterances are more than sounds lost to the wind. They are commands that the universe must follow. Your words become the architect's plan, bringing to you experiences that fit their essence. Whether muttered in private or spoken aloud, each word possesses the ability to transform the unseen into the visible. In the same town, there lived a shopkeeper named Leonard who recognized this vital truth. He greeted each sunrise with words of gratitude, blessing his house, job, and everyone that crossed his path today creates new treasures. He would call life abundant. He would affirm as the seasons passed. Leonard's life thrived like a well-kept garden. Customers were lured by his friendly nature. Strangers became friends, and possibilities arose as if called by some unseen force. His words had become a magnet, drawing in situations that matched their light. This ancient knowledge says that speech is a heavenly gift, a tool of creation bestowed upon people who live in human form. Your tongue is a wand. Your words are magic, and your voice can turn shadows into light. Each time you speak, you perform a sacred act of creation. The contrast between Minnie and Leonard reveals the exact method by which reality takes shape. Your words aren't empty vessels. They are imbued with the power of your mind and bear the seeds of tomorrow's events like drops of water on a stone. They form the features of your life with continual repetition. The 33rd degree knowledge indicates that mastery is found not in controlling circumstances, but in deliberately choosing the words that will manifest your ideal reality. Your speech is the link between the invisible and the visible, the means by which thoughts manifest in the real world. Practice as each day comes to a close. Sit quietly in a place that gives you serenity. Select one aspect of your life, such as your health, home, or relationship. Speak words of blessing over it with genuine emotion, as if you were giving a present to a dear friend. Allow your remarks to come from your heart, bearing the warmth of genuine appreciation. This ancient practice unites your words with the creative force of the cosmos, transforming curses into blessings and scarcity into wealth. Chapter 12. The Alchemy of Gratitude. In a little valley between ancient hills lived a woman named Agnes, whose heart was filled with resentment. Every morning, she counted her troubles like dark pearls on a string. The work that left her hands raw, the emptiness of her pocketbook. Countless dreams remained unfulfilled. She nurtured each grievance. Her spirit fell deeper into the shadow, and the universe, Mira, ever faithful, multiplied her grounds for pessimism. The 33rd degree demonstrates that gratitude is more than just a virtue. It is an alchemical force that converts the lead of circumstance into the gold of opportunity. When you move your focus from what is missing to what is present, you change the frequency of your existence. This heightened frequency elicits sensations that reflect its greater nature. In this sacred science, Thankfulness is the philosopher's stone. This catalyst converts the base metal of experience into the rare gold of insight. It is not the circumstances themselves that decide their significance in your life, but rather the prism through which you view them. Clarence, a trader in the same valley, had learned this ageless truth, but his journey was no easier than Agnes. He approached each task with gratitude for the job that had calloused his hands. He expressed appreciation for his strength and the coins, which appeared to be in short supply. He expressed appreciation for lessons in wisdom and unrealized goals. He expressed gratitude for the journey of becoming. As time passed, a strange change began to happen. The trials that had previously appeared to be roadblocks began to reveal themselves as hidden gems. What looked to be obstacles were actually seeds of opportunity, and what appeared to be delays turned out to be unexpected favors. Clarence's appreciation-filled eyes softened and remodeled reality into more compassionate forms. This ancient wisdom teaches that thankfulness is not a passive response to good fortune, but rather an active force that rearranges the particles of reality. When you express gratitude, you align with the universe's creative current, transforming resistance into flow and burden into blessing. The dramatic contrast between Agnes and Clarence demonstrates the strength of this principle. The influence of circumstances is determined by the vibratory gift you make in response, not their weight. Gratitude dissolves the idea of a divide between you and your good, revealing the abundance that was always present. Practice. Every night, as you prepare to sleep, say 3 heartfelt words of gratitude aloud. Allow them to ascend from your heart like incense, radiating the warmth of genuine appreciation. This sacred practice, passed down through generations of wisdom keepers, aligns your being with the frequency of grace, affecting the very fabric of your experience. Chapter 13. The Dance of Desire. Edith, a woman from a distant village, had a heart full of boundless ambitions. Every morning, she would rise and insist that her dreams come true. Her instructions rang through the chambers of her mind as she became increasingly angry, for they appeared to slip away like shadows from her grasp. Come now, why are you delaying? However, the more she insisted, the less attainable her goals became. The 33rd degree lessons reveal a truth that is often neglected. Desire operates through invitation rather than command, much like a delicate dance between partners. Manifestation occurs through harmony rather than force. When you reach for your dreams with desperate hands, they slide away like water between fingers. Consider how the cosmos reacts to tenderness versus demands. Your desires are divine friends, not servants to be ordered, eager to dance with you in perfect harmony. The idea is to enjoy their leisurely unfolding rather than hastening their arrival. Randall, a baker in the same community, knew this divine waltz. Every morning when he kneaded his dough, he would smile at the scene of his dreams, as if welcoming old friends. He never insisted that they arrive faster or complained about their punctuality. Instead, he relished their existence in his thoughts, treating each ambition like a valued dancing partner. Randall's bakery outperformed expectations during the course of the season. However, it was not his success that gave him delight. It was the journey itself. His dreams came true naturally, like flowers blooming in their ideal season, since he had learnt to dance with desire rather than battle with it. The 33rd degree demonstrates that creation reacts to delight rather than hurry. When you approach your desires as loving companions rather than as delayed promises, they begin to reflect your enjoyment of their presence. This is the alchemical process that turns waiting into insight and longing into love. Your role is not to command the cosmos, but to move in accordance with it. Allow your ambitions to be dance partners in the big ballroom of existence. When you go from demanding to dancing, from forcing to flowing, the energy of your dreams shifts from burden to blessing. An ancient practice. Instead of reaching for your deepest want with urgency, close your eyes and imagine it. Consider it a dance partner, approaching with grace. Feel the joy of companionship and the satisfaction of being present. Move with it in your thoughts, letting the dance unfold at its own pace. This is a practice of creation by partnership, rather than manifestation through force. Chapter 14. The Presence of Faith. In ancient traditions, faith serves as a link between desire and manifestation. This truth has whispered its way into existence over countless generations. What you believe comes before what you perceive. There once was a woman named Lucille who spent her days waiting for change to come before thinking it was possible. Every morning, she would get up and survey her surroundings for signs that tomorrow might be different than today. When she couldn't find any, she reverted to her old habits. Her heart was heavy with unbelief. "When I see it, I'll believe it," she'd grumble, unintentionally putting herself against the flow of creation. The 33rd degree knowledge discloses a vital reality. Faith is not the outcome of manifestation, but rather its precursor, as the farmer must believe in the harvest despite staring at empty fields. So must you go with conviction while your desires remain in the realm of possibility. Your faith establishes the channel via which manifestation flows. Howard intuitively understood this notion, even though his ambition to become a master artisan appeared remote. He conducted himself with the serene majesty of someone who had already attained mastery. He set up his tiny workshop as if it were already full of apprentices. He spoke with the measured wisdom of an experienced teacher, even though he had not yet taught his first student. Most importantly, he felt the reality of his goal in every step he took. The world reacted to Howard's unshakable trust. Opportunities occurred that looked tailor-made for his development. Tools arrived precisely when he needed them. Students began to appear, pulled by an energy that they couldn't quite describe. His faith had produced a magnetic field that reality sought to fill. The disparity between Lucille and Howard reveals a fundamental fact. Waiting for proof before believing is similar to waiting until summer to plant your seedlings. The natural order moves from faith to sight, from unseen to apparent, and from belief to manifestation. Your faith is not a blind hope, but rather an acknowledgement of what already exists in possibility, waiting for your belief to manifest. The ancient practice of walking in faith is still one of the most potent tools for transformation. When you go through the world as if your desires have already been realized, you align your entire being with their fulfillment. Your posture changes, your energy shifts, and the ground beneath your feet responds to your confidence. Practice. Every day, walk 10 steps as if your desire has already come true. Feel the truth in every movement. Let the truth guide every action. These stages are not pretense, but instead practice in harmonizing with what you already have in the invisible realm. Chapter 15. The Flame of Persistence. Nadine would frequently begin her routines with enthusiasm in the peaceful hours before morning, vividly imagining her intended future. However, as the days passed with no evident change, her dedication dwindled. She abandoned one road after another, never allowing the seeds of her goal to germinate. Every time she changed direction, her vibration dispersed like leaves in the wind, failing to gather the impetus required for manifestation. The 33rd degree teaches that creation follows a natural rhythm, beginning with thought, progressing to essence, and finally to form. This sequence can't be hastened. It operates on universal time. When you plant a seed, you do not dig it out. Every day, check on its progress. Such meddling impedes the delicate process of development. Floyd understood this principle deeply. For 7 years, he remained persistent in his idea of constructing a healing sanctuary in the mountains, even while others questioned his unflinching commitment to what appeared unattainable. He kept the same clear tone of conviction. He maintained his regular routines without hesitation, even when events looked to be moving in opposite directions. He would argue that the universe does not use the same time measurement system as we do. It assesses the consistency of our faith. During the 8th year, a sequence of unexpected incidents occurred. A distant relative left him land in just the area he had envisioned. Shortly after, 3 different benefactors stepped forward, each with riches that perfectly matched his needs. The sanctuary today stands as a tribute to the power of persistent faith. The distinction between Nadine and Floyd exposes a fundamental fact. Persistence in faith does not imply forcing outcomes, but instead keeping consistent harmony with your vision, regardless of surrounding circumstances. When you stop your practice at the slightest sign of delay, you disrupt the invisible orchestration of events that are already underway. Every dream appears twice, first in the subtle realm of potential, and then in the tangible world of form. The space between these manifestations is not vacant, but rather a period of active arrangement in unseen dimensions. During this time, your responsibility is to maintain a constant vibration, much like a musician keeping perfect pitch despite the surrounding noise. According to 33rd degree knowledge, persistence is about preserving inner assurance rather than fighting against resistance, while the cosmos adjusts itself to match your vibration. This assurance must be as natural as breathing, steady, unshakable, and without doubt. Practice every time resistance comes. Repeat these words with quiet confidence. The unseen is organizing itself for me. Let this affirmation remind you that apparent delays are frequently divine. Orchestration is in progress. Speak these words calmly, as if you comprehend the laws of creation. Chapter 16, The Art of Surrender. Beatrice lived in a home on the outskirts of town, her days spent with painstaking planning. Every morning, she would get up before dawn to create detailed timetables, outlining every detail of how her visions should materialize. Her walls were covered in charts and lists. Her notebooks were replete with detailed instructions for the universe. The more Beatrice attempted to direct the route to her ambitions, the more existence appeared to oppose her rigorous demands. When possibilities arrived that did not meet her exact standards, she turned them down, convinced that only her meticulously planned version of success would suffice. Her energy dwindled with each passing day as she tried to fit reality into her predefined pattern. The 33rd degree teaches that creativity flows through both visible and invisible channels. Just as water takes its natural flow, manifestation follows paths beyond mortal control. True mastery is achieved not by controlling every detail, but by uniting with the greater intelligence that governs everything. Vernon, a musician who formerly shared Beatrice's need for control, found the truth through an unexpected turn of circumstances. After years of pressing against unopened doors, he eventually gave up. In the gap of letting go, he discovered another type of power. Instead of imposing his will, he began to listen for guidance, following small cues and believing in divine timing. His breakthrough occurred when he let go of his rigid ideas about how his music should be distributed around the world. Instead of requesting specific locations or connections, he played joyfully wherever he found himself. Soon, opportunities beyond his wildest expectations arose. An accidental contact resulted in a recording contract, a last-minute cancellation, an open-to-prime performance slot, and a serendipitous discussion that introduced him to his ideal partners. This understanding demonstrates that surrender is not a passive resignation, but rather an active collaboration with the cosmos. It is the awareness that, while we have a picture of our desires, the precise path to their fulfillment frequently emerges in ways that our limited perspective cannot predict. When we let go of our control over how things happen, we enable higher wisdom to choreograph events far more elegantly than human planning could. The most significant power is found in this paradox. By relinquishing control, we have access to forces considerably bigger than our own. When we trust the current that moves us, we go further and quicker, much like a leaf carried by a mighty river. Practice. Every night, say softly, I release control and trust. My life is perfectly guided. Chapter 17. The Magnet of Joy in the Midst of a Bustling Market. He had counted each coin with pinched brows, assuming that pleasure awaited at some far finish line. Every morning, she awakened before dawn and labored until the stars appeared, delaying all pleasures for an imagined future. When success finally allows her to grin, the ancient wisdom of the 33rd degree teaches that joy is not a recompense for suffering. The frequency itself opens the gates of abundance. Those who postpone enjoyment create a vibration of scarcity, inadvertently driving away the very success they desire. The universe responds to present frequencies rather than future objectives. We lived in the same city. Russell was a humble potter who sang while sculpting clay. He relished the warmth of sunlight on his face, laughed with neighbors, and found joy in the simplest of moments. Though his job was no less rigorous than Hattie's, he greeted each duty with levity when others perceived dull routines. Russell saw possibilities for joy as the seasons changed. While Hattie's fortune gradually increased as a result of her strict dedication, an intriguing pattern appeared. Russell's life blossomed suddenly. Customers were lured by his pleasant demeanor. Opportunities appeared spontaneously, and prosperity poured as easily as his laughter. Without seeking achievement, he attracted it via the magnetic force of his joy. The 33rd degree discloses the truth. Joy is the means to an end, not the end itself. When you resonate at the frequency of joy, you align with the universe's inherent state of infinite riches. Those who understand this truth recognize that deferring enjoyment constitutes a barrier to manifestation. How can plenty flow through a canal that has been tightened by joyless striving? The cosmos responds to the quality of your energy rather than the intensity of your labor. A joyful heart attracts wonders. A spirit burdened by incessant striving repels the very gifts it wishes to receive. Allow this teaching to change your course. Every moment spent in genuine joy is in perfect harmony with universal riches. Your enjoyment of small pleasures causes ripples in the fabric of reality, attracting events that align with your energy and spiritual practice. Commit to doing one act per day that provides you with spontaneous delight, no matter how tiny. Allow this delight to come organically, without force or forethought. Whether it's dancing to a favorite song, watching clouds move across the sky, or having a genuine laugh, make room for sheer delight. This technique is not frivolous, but rather essential to manifesting your wishes. 18. The silver thread of intuition. Estelle, who lived in a small village, had exceptional talents but found herself treading hollow pathways. Each morning, she felt a gentle nudge to take a different route to work, to speak to a stranger, or to pursue an unexpected opportunity. However, she repeatedly ignored these tiny suggestions, preferring to go the safe and known path of rationality. The 33rd degree teaches that intuition flows like an underground stream, conveying messages from the universe's limitless wisdom. When neglected, this inner knowing manifests as mild impulses, brief flashes, and unexplained certainty. These signals vanish like morning mist, carrying with them bridges to unknown possibilities. Everett, a trader, lived in the same community and had learnt to trust the quiet voice within when his intellect told him one thing, but his heart said another. He respected the subtle, knowing, inexplicable need to wait rather than push forward. He hesitated as a strange impulse compelled him to proceed down an unfamiliar street. He followed through on his submission to inner guidance. Everett's life unfolded with ease that appeared magical to others. Business opportunities appeared at the appropriate time. When he needed them the most, the proper individuals came along. Even problems came with hidden blessings, as if designed by an unseen hand. Wisdom demonstrates that intuition is not random. It is the language of the soul, expressed through feelings, images, and knowledge. This inner compass always points to your ultimate good, though its instructions do not always correspond to logical planning. Individuals who learn to heed this quiet voice discover that life has already set stepping stones across the waters of uncertainty. Your inner knowing is the thread that ties you to the universal wisdom. When you ignore these tiny cues, you disconnect from the overall flow of life's orchestration. Each disregarded whisper is a refused opportunity to align with your highest path. This truth remains forever. The cosmos continuously communicates through the voice of intuition. This guidance system, which is ingrained into your own being, requires just your desire to listen and believe in the silence between thoughts. In space, between breaths, wisdom flows ceaselessly, providing direction, protection, and the keys to realizing your full potential. Sacred practice. Spend 3 minutes each morning listening silently for one small piece of wisdom. Sit in silence before the day begins, allowing your breath to calm and the quiet voice within to rise organically. Whatever impression occurs, honor it with your attention and, if feasible, your actions. Chapter 19. The Bridge of Immediacy. A woman named Nora lived in a little village surrounded by ancient hills, spending her days thinking about tomorrow. She would reply, "When I have more money, I will travel. When the situation improves, I'll start that garden." Her existence became an endless line of postponed joys, with each dream pushed into a future that never appeared to materialize. The 33rd degree lessons disclose a truth that is often neglected. Creation understands just the present moment. Like a mirror, it can only reflect what is in front of it. Now, your vibration, the subtle energy that influences reality, only exists in the now. Delaying your joy means delaying the frequency that draws your desires. This wisdom was revealed by Edgar, a poor potter who lived in the same community. Despite his poor circumstances, he chose to embrace life as it occurred. He would sculpt his clay with the same respect that he envisaged in his ideal workshop. He served tea to visitors in plain cups while treating each gathering as if it were taking place in a great tea house. He envisioned. Edgar recognized that tomorrow's reality emerges from today's vibration. He didn't wait till he felt successful. He exemplified achievement in his current acts. He didn't wait till he achieved anything to be happy. He gave each moment a sense of fulfillment. Within months, chances arose that precisely matched his readiness. His modest studio flourished, so did his reputation, and his dreams came true with ease that others thought was supernatural. The contrast between Nora and Edgar highlights a fundamental fact. The bridge to your ideal future can only be built in the present. When you postpone happy feelings until situations change, you become trapped in a cycle of waiting. The universe responds not to what you want, but to who you are at this moment. This instruction goes beyond just optimistic thinking. It requires the bravery to feel wealthy while maintaining a modest money balance, to feel loved while still seeking partnership, and to feel successful while pursuing your aspirations. This is not a denial. It is the intentional tuning of your current vibration to your intended reality. The key is to recognize that your ability to create is not limited to tomorrow. It lives in this breath, this heartbeat, right now. When you link your current vibration with your intended experience, you create a channel through which manifestation occurs spontaneously. Every morning, when the sun rises, pause and think about what would happen if my dream came true today. How would I feel then? Allow that feeling to permeate your being. Allow it to influence your ideas, motivate your actions, and shape your vibration. This is not a pretense. It is the art of intentional creation, the alchemical practice of changing tomorrow into its essence today. Chapter 20. The Golden Practice of Consistency. Annie lived in a village surrounded by ancient hills, and her spiritual practices varied like leaves in the wind. She would meditate one day, then experiment with crystals, and then move to mantras, never permitting any practice to grow in the fertile soil of her being. Her energy was thrown in all ways, leaving her drained and unfulfilled. Wondering why change eluded her, 33rd degree wisdom exposes a truth so simple that it is often disregarded. The power is not in the variety of disciplines, but in the constant commitment to one. Just as a gardener cannot devote the same attention to 100 seedlings as to a single prized plant, your spiritual energy requires targeted cultivation. Your thoughts, when dispersed throughout multiple practices, become like water distributed too thinly across parched ground. Nothing grows deep enough to thrive. The ancient wisdom says that regularity generates pathways through which universal energy flows with increasing force. Each repeat deepens the channels, allowing more force to pass through with less resistance. Reginald lived in the same village and chose to practice morning appreciation. Every morning, without fail, he would sit in his yard and express his gratitude to the universe for storms and sunlight, grief and triumph. He kept up this one religious rite for months. His life was transformed not by abrupt changes, but by the gradual accumulation of positive energy. His relationships deepened, opportunities arose organically, and a peaceful joy became his regular companion. The contrast between Annie and Reginald highlights a fundamental fact. Mastery is gained by taking one path repeatedly, rather than sampling several paths. The value of consistency stems from its ability to compound tiny efforts into significant change. You maintain a daily practice. You add another thread to the fabric of your metamorphosis. This insight reverberates throughout time. Those who acquire mastery do not know several techniques, but rather have permitted one technique to totally understand them. Whatever practice you pick, it must become as natural as breathing and as consistent as the rising sun. The teaching argues that 21 days is a critical threshold, the minimal amount of time required for a practice to take root in your being before this period expires. The practice remains vulnerable to abandonment. Following this threshold, it begins to beckon to you, becoming something you are rather than something you do in pursuit of this truth. Remember that the quality of your dedication is more important than the complexity of your practice. Choose one routine, such as meditation, gratitude, visualization, or any other practice that speaks to your spirit. Allow it to become your daily anchor, a precious moment of connection with the greater energy. An ancient practice. Choose one daily practice that you will hold sacred for at least 21 days without interruption. Part 3. Mastery of Bending. Chapter 21. The Symphony of Synchronicity. In a crowded bazaar, Lillian rushed past a book that had fallen from a merchant's booth. The title addressed a question that had tormented her heart that morning. Nonetheless, she dismissed it as a mere chance. Later that day, a stranger offered the exact wisdom she required. Still, she continued on, perceiving merely coincidences where spiritual messages awaited. The 33rd degree knowledge reveals a reality long hidden by mystics. What appears to be a coincidence is actually the cosmos communicating through symbols and alignments. These synchronicities are not coincidental events, but rather precise arrangements that indicate that your inner world and outer reality have come into harmony. When you listen to this delicate language, you come to realize that nothing is genuinely accidental. Each meaningful coincidence confirms that you are in harmony with the universal flow. These are moments when reality acknowledges your journey, provides guidance, and confirms your connection to the larger whole. Amos, a quiet shopkeeper, recognized this divine dialogue when clients regularly requested things he had recently considered stocking. He recognized it as advice, not chance. When talks seemed to reflect his morning thoughts, he smiled with recognition. By embracing these synchronicities, he noticed that they proliferated, resulting in a constant stream of confirmations and opportunities. As Amos followed these alignments, his life began to flow with extraordinary ease. Needed resources emerged just when he required them. The right people crossed his path at the appropriate times. Even obstacles come precisely when he has gained the strength to face them. Your reality is continuously talking in this language of purposeful coincidence. When you disregard these messages as random occurrences, you miss the trail that leads to your ultimate good. Each synchronicity acts as a mirror, reflecting your degree of alignment with universal energies. According to the teaching, acknowledging synchronicities increases their frequency and clarity, like a friend who opens up more when listened to. When you pay attention to the subtle messages that reality sends, it becomes more expressive. These instances of perfect timing and profound connection are the universe's way of saying yes. You are on the right track. Consider synchronicity to be music played when your inner frequency meets the universal tone. When you observe these harmonious moments, you are confirming to the universe that its signals are being heard. Encourage more such alignments to manifest ancient practice synchronicity daily, perceiving them as friendly winks from reality itself. Chapter 22. The Secret of Stillness. Cora, a weaver, resided in the depths of an ancient valley and believed her hands needed to be in motion at all times. She wove her loom tirelessly from dawn to dark, thinking that only constant activity would result in the plenty she desired. Her fingers sped across the threads, her mind racing with concern that any pause would result in loss. However, despite her tireless efforts, her works lacked the beauty she envisioned, and riches remained unattainable. The 33rd degree teaches that great strength is not found in constant action, but in the sacred place of quiet, like a clean pool that must settle before reflecting the stars above. Your energy field requires complete rest to synchronize with the global flow. When all movement ceases, the invisible forces of creation begin to dance. Ralph lived in a neighboring village and recognized this truth. Each morning, before the sun rose, he would sit in perfect quiet as others rushed to start their day's work. He stayed motionless, allowing his body to fill with universal energy. He embraced these calm moments. His life began to change dramatically. Opportunities emerged readily, as if drawn by an invisible magnet. The resources he required arrived at precisely the right time. His work, while less in hours, yielded results much above his earlier efforts. The contrast between these two spirits exposes a fundamental truth. Stillness does not imply the absence of action. It is the highest level of action. In quiet, you allow the cosmos to arrange situations for you. You stop resisting the flow and become one with it. This is why ancient sages meditated for hours before engaging in any meaningful activity. When you sit in stillness, you enter a realm of endless possibilities. Your energy field expands, your vibration rises, and your connection to universal intelligence becomes stronger. This is why creativity typically hits during peaceful moments. Why do solutions come when you stop searching? Clarity arises when you witness people straining to find answers. The power of stillness rests in its potential to connect you to the inherent rhythm of creation. Just like a seed grows without strain, your desires manifest most clearly when you allow cosmic energies to act through you. This is active waiting, not passive waiting, allowing for a condition of perfect alignment in which reality spontaneously bends to your objectives. The sacred quiet ritual entails sitting in quiet for 10 minutes each day, hands open, and imagining oneself filled with light. Chapter 23, The Bending of Time. Flora, a young shopkeeper, hurried between kiosks in a crowded marketplace. Her basket was overflowing with uncompleted duties. "There is never enough time," she said, watching the sun mock her haste across the sky. Each morning began with this sadness, and each evening concluded with the same bitter taste of incompleteness. According to traditional wisdom, time is a loyal servant of consciousness rather than a rigid master. It expands or contracts in response to the vibration of your thoughts, following the subtle currents of your ideas, much like water passing through various sized vessels. The universe functions according to the rhythm of alignment rather than mechanical time. When you declare that time is scarce, reality obediently closes its limitations. Your perspective turns into a self-fulfilling prophecy. Drawing on his experiences with haste and limitation, Wallace, a superb craftsman, unexpectedly realized this reality, while others moaned about insufficient hours. He retained an unshakable understanding of times and abundance. "Time flows abundantly," he would say, his hands steady as he worked. His days soon stretched into summer evenings. Each work finds its natural environment. His key was not superior scheduling, but rather his connection with time, which others fought against. He danced with it, while others gripped at minutes. He extended his palms in trust. The more he recognized time's abundance, the more it appeared to multiply around him. This shows us that time responds to our most fundamental ideas about its nature. It is not fixed but flowing, not rare but plentiful in its natural nature. The perception of limitation is simply a reflection of our constricted thinking. The 33rd degree demonstrates that time, like other parts of existence, may be bent with the strength of a focused consciousness. It is not about cramming more hours into a day, but rather about adjusting your vibration to one of openness and trust. When you let go of the hold of scarcity, time automatically expands to accommodate what is genuinely essential. Time conforms to your expectations, just as water does to its container. Your relationship with it results in either confinement or expansion. This isn't magic, it's natural law. The law of consciousness shapes our experience. Wallace's change reminds us that liberation from time constraint starts within. He did not change his workload. He altered his inner stance as his perception adjusted. Reality reshaped itself to accommodate his new frequency. The ancient art of bending time is stunningly simple. I have plenty of time, so whisper often. The universe expands it for me. Chapter 24. The Practice of Presence. In an ancient village, there lived a woman named Esther, who spent her days torn between past regrets and future anxieties. Every morning, she reviewed her missteps from the day before. She lay awake every night, imagining the problems she'd face the next day. Her thoughts alternated incessantly between what was and what might be, never disturbed the sacred ground of the present. Time became her nemesis, always moving too quickly or too slowly. Never quite right. She tried to grip it, but it slipped through her fingers like water. Her garden shriveled due to neglect, and she was concerned about the frost the following season. Her interactions grew distant as she envisioned future chats that never occurred. The 33rd degree teaches that power lives solely in the present. The past is a shadow, and the future is a dream. But now reality bends to consciousness. It is in the eternal moment. The concept takes shape, intention shapes circumstance, and the universe hears and responds. Elwood, a carpenter in the same community, worked with such intensity that time seemed to move differently around him. When he shaped the wood, his thoughts did not wander to yesterday's cuts or tomorrow's projects. He was totally present in each movement, breath, and instant of creation. Those who witnessed his labor described it as magical, with solutions emerging exactly when needed. While others rushed to complete their jobs, Elwood remained unhurried and did more when problems occurred. He faced them with the full force of his presence, discovering answers that appeared to emerge from the moment itself. His life moved so smoothly that it appeared magical to those who were lost in the past and future. This contrast highlights a fundamental fact. Presence is defined as active power rather than passive waiting. When consciousness is wholly immersed in the present moment, it gains access to the most pliable part of reality. The cosmos responds to your vibration right now, not the echoes of what was or the shadows of what might be. The present moment is where manifestation happens. It is the single moment at which thinking may interact with reality, where intention can influence circumstance, and consciousness can alter the course of events. Those who master presence learn that time itself becomes malleable, expanding or contracting to meet their requirements. Through these anecdotes, the 33rd degree demonstrates that presence is more than just a state of mind. It possesses creative potential. It is the distinction between existing in the shadows of time and wielding its force. When you totally immerse yourself in the present moment, reality responds not to your memories or projections, but to the pure vibration of your current consciousness throughout the day. Pause and focus on one thing, such as a leaf or a breath, and allow it to ground you. Now comes Chapter 25, The Brightness of Trust. In the silent shadows of her modest house, Althea spent her days spinning tapestries of uncertainty. Every dawn brought a new concern. Every evening brought new anxieties. Despite being bestowed with gifts and chances, she questioned each gift, analyzing it for defects until it shattered in her hands. Her skepticism acted like an acid, destroying the very fabric of her works before they could fully form. The 33rd degree teaches that the universe works with absolute perfection, organizing myriad occurrences in a harmonic dance. Those who look through the lens of skepticism, however, cannot see this vast design. Mistrust prevents manifestations from flourishing, just as a garden withers under too much shade. Clyde, a modest potter, knew this reality without ever studying it. Every morning, he would shape his clay, reasonably confident that the proper buyers would find their way to his workshop. He never doubted whether his work would sell or if his talent was adequate. Instead, he labored quietly, confident that the universe would direct him to the best results. As the seasons passed, collectors began to discover his works. Art galleries contacted us unexpectedly, Opportunities occurred that looked tailored to his own flair. Even when problems arose, Clyde maintained his steadfast faith. If a shipment failed, he would smile and suggest that something better would undoubtedly arrive. Such misfortunes often led to better conditions. The contrast between these two spirits exposes a fundamental truth. Trust is the invisible link between desire and manifestation, where doubt breeds resistance. Trust creates channels through which universal forces can flow freely. It is not blind faith that is necessary, but rather an understanding that the cosmos acts according to perfect laws. Trust helps the mind to relax, making way for divine orchestration. When you trust deeply, you let go of the impulse to control every aspect, allowing higher wisdom to organize circumstances beyond your limited perspective. Like a river that knows its way to the sea, life understands how to bring good to you. The 33rd degree demonstrates that trust functions like a magnet, attracting invisible allies and unexpected support. These assistants can manifest as fortuitous meetings, timely opportunities, or unexpected insights. They are the universe's reaction to your message of trust. This knowledge challenges you to abandon the habit of skepticism and accept trust as your natural state. When worry emerges, remember that you live in a loving cosmos that strives for harmony and fulfillment. Practice. Repeat gently. Life takes care of me. Always breathe till calm creeps in. Chapter 26. The Dance with Resistance. There once was a woman named Olive who faced her doubts with tenacity. When doubt crept into her head, she fought back with affirmations whispered through clenched teeth. However, the more she resisted, the stronger her misgivings became, until they took over her thoughts entirely. The 33rd degree emphasizes that opposition is not an enemy to be defeated, but rather a loving messenger carrying insight. When you reject what arises within you, you increase its force by feeding it the very energy you want to withdraw. This truth is at the heart of manifestation. What you struggle against persists. Whatever you embrace evolves. In the sacred teachings, resistance acts as a compass, pointing out beliefs that require attention. It whispers of inner areas yearning for healing and concepts seeking realignment with the truth. Fighting resistance is like fighting your own reflection. It's exhausting and fruitless. Consider Virgil, who learned this insight on his own travels, rather than fighting against his misgivings. He learned to greet them as old friends with crucial messages. When he was unclear about his route, rather than pushing it away, he would sit quietly and inquire what it wanted to teach him. Through this approach, Virgil discovered something extraordinary with each uncertainty. When engaged with interest rather than hostility, he disclosed more profound facts about his ideas. His reluctance to succeed revealed a formative belief about worthiness. His fear of being seen concealed a long-held desire to belong. Peace returned to his heart as he befriended his former thoughts. The instruction explains that opposition frequently blocks the path to your highest expansion. It appears not to block your path, but rather to guarantee that you are prepared for what is ahead. When faced with tenderness, resistance transforms into guidance, revealing which beliefs deserve attention. This truth goes beyond personal practice and into the very fabric of existence. Creation. The universe responds to alignment rather than force. When you battle against what is, you cause ripples of discord to disrupt the natural flow of creation. However, when you embrace opposition as a teacher, reality becomes more harmonious. Ancient wisdom refers to this as the soft road, the way of allowing rather than forcing, of listening rather than demanding. The deepest alterations, such as smoothing with water and stone, occur when using this mild method, not via force, but with consistent gentleness. When resistance develops, breathe into it and softly inquire about the belief that is seeking to be healed. Chapter 27. The Field of Infinite Possibility. Hazel spent her days in a quiet community surrounded by undulating hills, following well-drawn lines. She would rise every morning and follow the same path through her routines, seeing only what she expected to see. When chances presented themselves, she disregarded them, relying solely on the same patterns she had always understood. This is how things are, she would say, closing the doors before seeing what lay beyond them. The wisdom of the 33rd degree teaches that existence exists as an unlimited field of possibility, much like a garden where many seeds lie dormant in fertile soil, waiting for the proper conditions to bloom. Every instant has boundless possibilities. However, the mist of limiting thinking frequently obscures our vision, allowing us to see just what we believe is conceivable rather than what is actually true. Consider how a prism converts white light into a spectrum of colors. Similarly, each event has several levels of potential. Though we usually experience only one, the infinite field responds not to what is logical or expected, but to what consciousness is willing to accept. When you broaden your vision, reality grows to match it. Sydney lived in a distant city with an open heart and a curious mind, while others saw only dead ends. He perceived doorways. When challenges emerged, he did not ask why. But what else could this mean? One day, in an effort to grow his business, he let go of all preconceived notions about what success looked like. Instead of imposing his vision, he stayed open to unanticipated forms of prosperity. Soon, chances appeared in ways he could never have predicted. A casual conversation resulted in an international alliance. A mistake turned into the ideal new spot. By keeping open to endless potential, he met his most crucial colleague despite what appeared to be a setback. Sydney enabled reality to choreograph solutions that exceeded his limited vision. His story demonstrates a fundamental truth. The cosmos operates based on infinite abundance rather than scarcity. Every imagined constraint exists solely in thought. When you let go of restrictive expectations, reality shows its unlimited essence. Creation seeks various paths to manifestation, just as water does around obstructions. The infinite field requires that you broaden your view beyond the familiar. It encourages you to break the tendency of assuming that outcomes must take precise forms. When you embrace the expanse of potential, life responds with solutions that surpass your previous knowledge. Every morning, I whisper, I live in an infinite field. Surprises amuse me. Chapter 28, The Law of Radiance. In a busy marketplace, Viola walked like a shadow, carefully controlling her words and lowering her energy to avoid drawing notice. She believed that acceptance meant shrinking, becoming quieter and less conspicuous. Every morning, she checked her reflection, calibrating her presence until it felt secure and muted. She said, better to blend in than stand out and make others uncomfortable. The 33rd degree teaches that you are naturally radiant, like the sun, which never doubts its right to shine. Your inner light exists to brighten up the world. When you reduce your light to suit others' shadows, you deny the cosmos its full expression through you. Your brilliance has a specific frequency that draws similar opportunities, relationships, and experiences. Each time you dim your light, you reduce the reflection that reality can provide you. The law of attraction responds not to what you claim to be, but to the energy you genuinely represent. Ralph, who lived in the center of the same metropolis, was well aware of this truth. She went through life letting her joy, wisdom, and genuine nature shine through, even when others might have encouraged her to tone down her enthusiasm or speak more softly. She chose instead to believe in the magnetic force of authentic expression. Ralph glided about her days, radiating her inherent light. Something spectacular happened. Instead of pushing people away, her light brought them in. Those who matched her frequency naturally gravitated toward her presence. Business partners sought her advice. Friends praised her individuality. And possibilities arose that exactly fit her genuine energy. Her light produced a sphere of permission around her, encouraging others to shine brighter as well. She learned that by refusing to dim her light, she silently gave others the courage to light their own, much like a lamp brightens a room. Her willingness to shine changed the vibe of every room she visited. The difference between these two pathways exposes a fundamental fact. Your brilliance is not a gift that requires permission to be shared. It is your natural state of being, waiting only for you to fully embrace it when you shine without apology. You agree with the universe's plan for your life. Consider how a flower naturally leans toward the sun, knowing that light promotes growth. Opportunities, relationships, and abundance are drawn to those who dare to radiate their whole light. Your brightness is the lighthouse that directs your best good to you. Stand in front of a mirror, smile, and remark, "I am radiant, and life reflects my light." Chapter 29. The Secret of Instant Manifestation. Winifred carried her dreams along a meandering road through an ancient grove, like heavy stones in a basket. Every day, she looked at them and sighed. Perhaps next year or the year after, time stretched ahead of her like an unending road, and her ambitions seemed to fade more into the distance. With each step, the 33rd degree unveils a fact that dispels the myth of essential weight. Manifestation happens at the speed of alignment, yet when inner vibration coincides precisely with desire, creativity can happen with stunning speed. Time is not required. It is simply the difference between misalignment and harmony. Consider how a radio receives a signal when it is precisely tuned to the correct frequency. The song starts instantly. There is no wait period. There is no progressive strengthening of reception. In one moment, there is static in the next. Perfect clarity. So it is with manifesting your desires. Maurice realized this knowledge during a stunning awakening. For years, he believed that good things took time. That patience meant waiting indefinitely. Then one morning, he realized he wasn't waiting for the universe, but for his own alignment to solidify. That very day, he changed his ideas, allowing himself to receive now rather than later. He let go of the heavy burden of someday and walked fully into it. Now, within hours, opportunities that he had long sought began to surface. A phone call brought word of an unexpected opening. An accidental meeting resulted in an immediate partnership. Doors that appeared to be sealed unexpectedly swung open. His experience enlightens the instruction. Delay is not a natural law, but rather the shadow produced by misalignment. When you believe in waiting, the universe will create situations that need you to stay. When you accept quick fulfillment, natural reality reshapes itself to satisfy your expectations. Imagine a seed budding. While some may take several seasons to flower, others break through the dirt overnight. The difference is not in the merit of the seed, but in the perfect convergence of circumstances. Your desires are like these seeds. Some manifest gradually. Others suddenly appear. At the time, the conditions are ideal. The reality persists. Time isn't the master of manifestation. Alignment occurs when your ideas, feelings, and beliefs are entirely consistent with your desire. Reality answers quickly, which may appear miraculous to people who believe in essential waiting. Concentrate intensely on one modest wish and imagine it has already arrived. Watch as minor miracles appear swiftly. Chapter 30. The Crown of Mastery. Harriet seized the reins of her life with iron determination in the midst of a crowded marketplace. Each morning, she devised intricate plans, issued firm orders to those around her, and strove to control every aspect of her life. However, the more she tried to compel circumstances to her will, the more they seemed to spin out of her control. The ancient knowledge of the 33rd degree emphasizes that mastery comes not from ruling the outside world, but from gaining sovereignty over one's inner sphere. True power is found in the subtle skill of self-government, the ability to direct thought, emotion, and focus with steadfast accuracy. When you try to manage the outside environment when your inner world is chaotic, you create resistance, as if hitting choppy waters would calm them down. These efforts merely exacerbate the chaos. The secret is to become calm within yourself and let the rivers of existence gently settle around you. Consider the vibration you create when attempting to manage others' worry, tension, and resistance. These frequencies propagate outward, resulting in more of what you want to eliminate. The universe responds to your state of being rather than your actions in the tranquil hills beyond the city. Leonard was a humble worker who recognized this truth. He never raised his voice or insisted on his way. Nonetheless, life seemed to organize itself perfectly around him. His workshop flourished. His relationships grew stronger, and chances arose effortlessly. When asked what his secret was, he merely grinned and stated, "I only tend to my own garden, while the world tends to itself. Leonard's skill resided in his capacity to retain inner peace despite external conditions. By mastering his thoughts, he understood that reality is a mirror that reflects the quality of consciousness we possess within ourselves. He mastered his experience by controlling his emotions. He ruled his world. This suggests that attempting to manage life is akin to trying to prevent an echo. Impossible and needless. Instead, speak clearly, and the echo will automatically follow. Your outside world will always reflect your inner state of being. True mastery requires understanding that you do not need to force, push, or manipulate anything. Your strength lies in maintaining mental clarity, emotional stability, and a focused mindset. As your inner world aligns, your outer environment will naturally conform to this new pattern. Let go of the desire to dominate people or impose outcomes. Direct your attention inside. Master your thoughts and see how reality bends to match your clarity. Control your emotions and watch as events reconfigure themselves around your stable core. Focus your attention solely on life and watch as it organizes itself in accordance with your desire. End each day with the mantra, I master myself, therefore I master my world. Through these chapters, an ancient truth has been revealed to you, one that transforms the seeker into a sage. What began as an investigation into the hidden laws of reality has resulted in something considerably more profound. You are not distinct from the world you seek to alter. You are the source, like a great weaver on the loom of life. Your ideas weave the fabric of experience. Your beliefs create its pattern, while your emotions give it vitality and color. Your vibration dictates the ultimate form. This knowledge has always been with you, waiting to be recalled rather than learnt. Each tale presented was a mirror that revealed different aspects of your innate potential. The woman who discovered her concerns and died several times demonstrated your inventive force. The man who had imagined prosperity followed him, revealed beliefs and architecture. Those who preserved inner harmony exhibited vibration. Silent command. These teachings are not intended to be treasured like gold in a vault. Instead, they beg to be lived so fully that your mere existence becomes a teaching. When you walk in accordance with these principles, your life becomes a living testament that speaks louder than words alone. The techniques presented are not just exercises, but keys to waking. Each affirmation, visualization, and moment of quiet is an invitation to fully embrace your creative force. They are most effective when accepted as sacred acts of self-remembrance rather than duties to be completed. You now realize why this insight is known as 33rd degree knowledge, not because it is limited to a select few, but because many people avoid its underlying reality. Whether you realize it or not, you are the author of your experience at all times. You are creating ripples in the field of unlimited possibilities. Every idea, every emotion, and every decision is a brushstroke on reality's canvas. This recognition confers both authority and duty. To bend reality, you must first bend yourself, mastering your inner world to the point where the outer world cannot help but reflect your clarity. This mastery is achieved not via force, but through alignment, control, and harmony. You have now reached the threshold of actual creation. The book's chapters may have concluded, but your journey as a conscious creator has merely begun. You found that you can influence the world, transform circumstances, and actualize aspirations.